Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Anthony with themovieblog.com, and I'm back here with another video. This time we're going to be doing the first of a series. We're going to be talking about the many lives of Nathaniel Richards. Now, Nathaniel Richards made his debut in the last episode of Loki, where everybody got a chance to see that, right? Loki was like shocked as much as we were, and that moment he was all of us like, who is this dude and what is he about? Now, a lot of people have been assuming that he's actually going to be Kang the Conqueror or Immortus. That's partially true. Now, Nathaniel Richards does take on many identities over the course of his character history, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a examination into some of the main characters that I think are going to impact in the MCU, and what we want to do is take a look at their comic book history to see what information we can find there. We're going to start off with Rama Tut. Now, Nathaniel Richards is a 31st century scholar and time traveler. He lives in the year 3000, and for all intents and purposes, it appears that the world is a utopia. Now, there doesn't seem to be any world conflict, crime, major world issues, or anything that's considered bad today. And surprisingly, this bores the hell out of Nathaniel. He's fascinated with the conflict that happened in his time's history, and he wants to figure out a way on how he can experience that. Now, Nathaniel discovers time travel technology created by Dr. Doom and travels back in time to ancient Egypt using, get this, a Sphinx-shaped time ship. Yeah, a Sphinx. He was riding around through time in that. Now, once he arrives in ancient Egypt, it naturally blends in with some of the wonders of the world that were created at that time. And with his future technology, he easily overpowers the locals and positions himself as their leader. He becomes the Pharaoh Rama Tut, and he's living life. He's enjoying things, right? He's having a good time. And he seems to rule ancient Egypt for years in search of, get this, the ancient mutant Apocalypse. He wants Apocalypse in order to enlist him for his own scheme in search of an heir to take over. He seeks out an Apocalypse that's still relatively young and inexperienced, and someone that he thinks that he can mold into that role. Now, in the future, Reed Richards is in a museum studying Egyptian artifacts with his girlfriend Sue, and notes a period of history in Egypt without much record. Reed doesn't find much about that time period that's ruled by Rama Tut and the artifacts, but he does discover that during that time there was a technology that existed to cure the ailments of blindness. He and the rest of the Fantastic Four use Dr. Doom's time machine in their era to travel back to ancient Egypt. He wants to do this in order to find a cure for the girlfriend of Ben Grimm the Thing, Alicia Masters, who's blind. When the Fantastic Four arrive in the past, they're shocked to be attacked by spear-throwing armored individuals who don't seem to belong to that time period. Reed Richards notes it, but they don't really actually react to it much yet. Now, let me set something straight. These guys may or may not be from ancient Egypt, and they're wearing stuff that's out of their time period, but let's not kid ourselves into thinking that they're any sort of match for the Fantastic Four. Now, the FF makes short work of these guys until they're attacked with some sort of ray gun that knocks them all unconscious. Now, this story follows most stories of that time in which the guys are knocked out and forced into some sort of servitude role, while Sue becomes the damsel in distress and is said to be the bride of Rama Tut. Something interesting is that while in this time period, Ben Grimm miraculously transformed back into his human form, and when he does this, he's able to free himself of some sort of mind control that Rama Tut was able to enforce on he and the rest of the Fantastic Four. Once he's free and he's swam across an ocean and fought off a bunch of guards and somehow steals the ray gun that is enforcing this mind control right out of Rama Tut's hands, he's able to use that ray gun to start freeing the remaining members of the Fantastic Four. After their Fantastic Four reassemble themselves and they take on the guards and they overpower Rama Tut, he decides it's time to leave and get while the getting's good, and he starts heading off back into the time stream using his spaceship. We later learn that after Rama Tut leaves here, he travels forward to the 20th century where he meets Dr. Doom, whom he believes might be his ancestor, and Dr. Doom convinces Rama Tut to take on the identity of the Scarlet Centurion. Now, the Scarlet Centurion is one of the many identities of Kang the Conqueror, but we're not going to be talking too much about the Scarlet Centurion. I'm going to be honest with you, he's really not that important. He's more of a footnote in the many identities that Kang takes on over his lifetime. He doesn't really do anything notable or important though, so let's just remember that he does take on this identity. He has a few adventures where he tries to attack like the heroes of the Marvel universe. Like he tries some adventures with the Avengers, but nothing really memorable, nothing really remarkable. Now we're definitely eventually going to get to, of course, Kang the Conqueror and Immortus. Those are going to come later in this series, but next one I want to touch on is Iron Lad. Let me know what you guys think of this. It's obvious that Iron Lad is going to be introduced as a character, in my opinion, because they seem to be building up the Young Avengers. And if you guys know anything about the comics, you'll know that Iron Lad is actually the one who assembled and founded the Young Avengers. That's going to be our next video. I'm going to get to that next. If you guys are new here to the channel, do me a favor, hit that like button. And if you want to see more from this series, make sure you subscribe. That's all I got for now. I'm going to check you guys later. Peace.